imagine the world that we would live in if everybody could hear even just the smallest whisper? Kind of scary. You could hear what your neighbors are saying when they're not even like shouting or yelling at each other. That would be a total game changer. If everybody had super hearing, like Superman. I don't know. I've been thinking about that. That may be a future show coming up on Coast to Coast AM. This is Ian Park.
Last year, there was a victim of identity theft every 3 seconds. A criminal could be spending your money, applying for loans in your name, damaging your credit, or even selling your personal info on the dark web. Unfortunately, you could miss certain threats to your identity by just checking bank statements and monitoring your credit. The solution? LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. LifeLock sees certain threats you could miss if you're only monitoring your credit and alerts you if they find something that could be suspicious. And if you become a victim of identity theft, a U.S.-based identity restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock by Norton can help protect your personal information. Join now. This week only, it's the Better Than Black Friday sale. Save up to 35% off your first year at LifeLock.com. Promo code George35. Hurry, this sale is only 7 days long. Go to LifeLock.com, use promo code George35 to save up to 35%. Don't wait, the offer ends June 13th.
Stability. Now there's a word. When you listen to the news, there isn't much around. Cryptocurrencies, the Middle East, the COVID outbreak, the stock market. How do you know what's stable long term? How do you know what to invest in or where anymore? You know, there's a 5,000-year-old answer that's seen off every world crisis there ever was. Gold and precious metals. The oldest hedge against inflation and disaster. Your stability insurance. Put it into an IRA. You even defer the tax on all the gains until you retire. So you get compound growth on everything. That can add extra thousands of dollars to your fund over the years. And you'd have stability. Peace of mind that you've made the right choice. Take out an IRA with Noble Gold this month, and along with first-class service, they're gifting a 1/10-ounce gold bullion American Eagle coin. To find out more, visit NobleGoldInvestments.com. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Well, just a few more minutes left on Coast to Coast AM for tonight, which is good because I just have like 8% power on my laptop, so it's a race. See who's going to finish. Let's go to Mary in New Jersey on Coast to Coast AM. Mary?
Hello. Don't laugh. It's about unicorns.
I like unicorns. Why would I laugh?
I was listening to a talk show, and the man called in. He's so angry. He says you can't trust King James 1611 and has the word unicorn. There's no such thing. It's mythological, and they misinterpret it. You can't trust the English. They didn't know any better. And I'm thinking, how do you know? You weren't around back then. So, I mean, how do you really know, right? Well, what was it back then? They said, oh, it's a misinterpretation. That word really meant this kind of animal. And again, I'm thinking, how do you know? You weren't back then.
But hold on. So this is really interesting. So I would like, what did you say the quote was in what? In which, again, please? Which verse, please? Did you mention? I don't know the verse, and it's all over the Bible. Unicorn in the King James 1611. It's all over. All right, Moses has it in there, and they said, I don't think it in there, and Psalms has it in there. It's all over. No, I don't think so. But here's the thing: that I don't think unicorns are mentioned all over. But if it did get mentioned once, and I'd have to go back and maybe it's an early version of the King James, because there were you remember, I mean, the New Testament is written in Koine Greek. And then the Old Testament was written in an early version of Hebrew. And scholars of the time, of the 17th century, were still unable to actually translate a lot of words. It's not just words like unicorn. There were many other words that today we know we have a much better translation for what they originally meant. And that's why the King James Version in many cases is not even really what we would call a translation. It's a paraphrase. They did the best they could with the scholarship that they had. But it took a while before they were able to unearth, scholars, monks, were able to unearth enough of the earliest documents to have other documents to go by that explained what those early Greek or it's not, well, Koine Greek isn't early Greek, it's kind of like mid-Greek, but it was different. Koine Greek was different. And so I think that's where, I think that's interesting. I have to go back and look to see whether unicorns ever appears in the Bible. I don't ever remember seeing it in the Bible, but if it did and it was an early version of King James, that probably is honestly accurate. That it's not a matter that they were there and somebody wrote it down using Shakespearean English. It would have to be that somebody wrote it down in either Hebrew or in Greek. And the Greek is interesting because a lot of the texts that we have in Greek are also then a translation from what people were writing down what people were saying in Aramaic, which is a version of sort of the street Hebrew. So you have all sorts of permutations of languages and stories. And that's why I'd be curious to do a word study on that. I happen to have those books handy, and I'll do that after I get off the air. Interesting. Unicorns. Don't think they're all over, but I'm now you got me intrigued. Jorge is in New Orleans on Coast to Coast AM for Open Lines. Jorge?
Yes, how you doing, Mr. Ian?
Very nice to have you.
It's a pleasure to have a chance to talk to you.
And you?
Yes, sir. I've been trying for a while, and I was talking with Mr. Lurie about a few weeks ago. We were talking about a site that we saw in the jungles of Guatemala.
Oh, interesting.
About the UFO. And it was around November in 1963, and we were taking a class of archaeology in the ruins of Guatemala.
You said hydrology in Guatemala?
No, archaeology.
Archaeology, thank you.
Yes, sir. And so we saw this UFO coming down. It was a circle plate with magenta lights and blue lights coming down. At the beginning, we thought it was going to be a helicopter, but there was no sound.
All right.
And so we were about 4 people were taking the class. We saw it coming down, but it never landed. It stayed about maybe 200 feet up in the air. And even once again, about probably 200 yards away from us, the distance of it, what we saw. But the lights were incredible, no sound whatsoever. It never landed, and it just must stay around our minute and cents, and it blew up again.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question about sightings in Central America.
Yeah.
Was that common at the time?
No. It was very rarely. Now it's very common. Now it's more common than ever.
Yeah, I know people from Mexico have talked about sightings, but I've never talked to anybody from Central America and what they feel.
Well, like I said, we were in the jungles in Petén, which is the northern part of Guatemala.
Wow.
And we saw, like I said, we saw this coming down and never landed at all. And it stayed up in maybe about 200 feet up in the air. And just with the, flashing lights, magenta lights and blue lights, no sound. And then for a minute and a half, it speed up with no sound whatsoever. It just disappeared.
I trust that. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Very interesting.
And then I said, that's what I say. In my opinion now, I'm 70 years old. I think 20% of the human race is ready for
I think so.
Leaving to the governments to speak up and say what they got to say about it.
But maybe they have. That's part of what I keep coming back to is maybe they have. Maybe they've told us everything, and now we have to deal with it. And we can't always be sitting in a place where we're going like, well, if they'd only tell us everything. We're seeing the videos, right? I mean, the Pentagon is coming out going, we don't know what it is, and we don't want to scare people, but it could be Chinese or Russian. Maybe not. Maybe it's under this earth. We really don't know. And that's all they got. I mean, why do we always think, how can we believe that the government is so stupid and so smart at the same time? I don't know. I tend to think that they've pretty much laid out their cards. And right now, the world is raising one eyebrow, going, all right. But at the same time, I'm hearing kind of a collective yawn, like, wake us when we have more. I don't know. I think that's plenty to work with. So take a look. If you haven't seen the videos, you can always find out more at coasttocoastam.com. Joe is in the Bronx on Coast to Coast for Open Lines.
Ian, how are you?
Go ahead, Joe.
Ian, all this talk about UAPs.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's to me, it's not what they are, because we have Roswell, we have Steubenville, Texas. It's why they're here, to me. I want to know what their purpose for being here is, what the reason is that they're here. That's really what I think we should be focusing on.
Well, if they've been here for this long, if Roswell really did happen, the way people talk about, and it was a crashed UAP, if we have UAPs everywhere, and UAPs have been popping up on videos, and the Pentagon is finally just showing them, but that's it. What conclusion can we draw about the why?
Well, I think, for my part, I think that it's more than just an observation. I think they're here to interact with us, but on their terms.
Well, why not get on with it then? If that's it, I mean, if we're talking about from the late 1940s, early 1950s until today, if the whole idea is to interact with us, okay, enough of the foreplay, right?
Right. Yeah, I agree. But I think the government could be kind of getting us ready for something more.
Really?
I think the government knows more than we know.
Okay, but again, now we're in this sort of, the government is super stupid and completely inept, and they know more than they're telling us, and they've got this whole plan worked out of when we're supposed to know. I don't think so. I don't think there's any evidence at all that government is that smart, that they figured out the day that we're supposed to know. I think we don't care, and we're waiting for somebody to make us care. Here's what it is. I think it's not cinematic enough. We're so used to understanding UAPs and extraterrestrials in the context of movie special effects that just something going whizzing around in the sky on a video is just not enough for us. And I think that's a sad commentary.
The government is prepping us.
Why not?
And they're prepping us for something extraordinary.
Okay, how does the government stop them?
How does the government
if this is truly extraterrestrial, how does our puny little government stop them from appearing anywhere in the world? Why do we think that our government rules the world? It doesn't. They could appear tomorrow in Guatemala. They could just land in Guatemala.
It could be a worldwide coordinated effort behind the scenes. We don't know that. We don't know if there's worldwide collaboration on how to deal with these UAPs.
Okay, but here's what we know. Here's what I'm suggesting to you, is that we've got so much evidence. We got so many years of this, that if you're really saying, what's the why? You want to get to the why. Okay.
Yes.
We have enough evidence to start judging why. If you have a friend from high school and you keep calling them and they don't ever call you back, and it's 40 years later and they have not returned any of your calls, you can keep wondering, I wonder why. Or you conclude from that they really don't want to talk to you. right? You can conclude they just don't care. And yet, I think that's where we get hung up, because we want the answer to be so much more than it is. Maybe it's just they don't care. They're just, this is like, for them, this is like going to the Poconos. You know, you go, you get you get a snow cone, you fly around. Maybe it's like getting a merit badge on their planet. You know, you can't get elevated until you go down to Earth. You got to buzz Earth once and then come back and you get your next grade up. Maybe they don't care. Why do we think we're so special? If they can fly that far, that fast, what do they need us for? These are some of the whys. I think they're just unpleasant because we like to think of ourselves as central to everything. And that if we're not on board, well, then nobody's on board. If the U.S. government doesn't know about it, nobody can know about it. Maybe other governments know about it. I don't know. Anyway. So, Bill is on a first-time caller line in Albany. It's open lines. We're running out of time, but we've got time for you, Bill. Go ahead.
Hi, Bill. Thanks very much. And how much time I have? I'm a retired Navy 06. Had 34 years in the Navy. And I talked about the UAP stuff with a friend of mine who's a retired Caltech professor in his 70s. A couple quick things. First of all, we always see a lot of things in the sky. I wonder what they are. I think that Tulsa police officer, he could have been seeing a satellite with that rapid thing, because satellites do have that transit. They seem to go a lot faster than airplanes. If you see them in the sky, they will track on a straight path. They go across the sky pretty quickly.
But it was the fact that they returned back to a space.
Right,
that was
they went northwest and they went west. And that
satellites don't do that.
The atmosphere might cause refraction or all that, but that's just one thing.
That sounds like That sounds like a marsh gas argument. Because
when you see the oil and gas lights, you fly back from Europe to the United States and you cross over Greenland.
Yeah.
You fly through the northern lights. It doesn't affect the airplane at all. It's an optical illusion. When I was taking the kids from my scouts,
I don't see how that's relevant to what he saw, which was he saw something tracking on an arc, and then he looked back and it moved completely back to another space in the blink of an eye. Right.
Yeah. So here's what my Caltech professor and I were talking about when I took my kids out to scout camp. And at night, dark, walking a trail, going every flashlight out, and you'd see these little tiny orbs, fluorescent light flying in the sky. I said, what are they? And he said, well, it's little plasma balls. You know how the sun throws off solar flares, little plasma gets caught in the atmosphere, comes down, or it could be formed naturally. And again, they're not things. They're electrically charged. They may be particles. They may have some mass, but they can travel at any speed they want. And what he said about the things, they could get relatively large. So the Tic Tac videos could simply be these plasma balls thrown off, solar plasma caught in the atmosphere, and they are electrically charged. They may have some mass, but they can travel very, very fast, and they don't follow random things. And it's similar to if you Googled ball lightning in Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Ball lightning was a phenomenon that's been around for centuries, and people have had reports of these basically electrically charged, or whatever they are. People would say they crashing through cathedrals or in the middle of the night in the road.
Okay.
This plasma just caught in the atmosphere, and at nighttime you see it most of the time, but in daytime, larger plasma things, and I think the Navy should investigate this, and the shore pilots, that it may be something as simple as a naturally occurring phenomenon that's been happening for years all over the world.
Okay, but that sounds very reductive in the logic, right? We're going to start from a premise that there is no such thing as this, and then work backward. Because you may be right that some of those things are, one of them could have been a plasma ball, but there's no way those Navy pilots were seeing plasma balls. I don't think. But they didn't offer that. They were confused by it afterward. I appreciate your comments, so it's a good way to end it tonight. Sorry we couldn't get to everybody. And to everybody who is looking forward to it, who had even sent me messages on Twitter saying, you got to talk to this guy, called Deacon Punnett on Twitter. You got to talk to this guy who did this Netflix series on the Son of Sam that there are more than one, and he's proven it. Well, I think he did too, and that's why he'll be our first hour guest coming up Saturday night on Coast to Coast. Thank you, George, for taking a night off so I get to slide into your chair. And I hope everybody else has a safe weekend, and stay cool if it's hot, stay dry if it's stormy. In the meantime, Deus te amat, and I do too.
A really low interest rate? Owning has a special for home purchases, where Owning pays all your closing costs, and the rate in APR is an unheard of 1.875% for a 15-year fixed mortgage with 20% down. This is the craziest low rate for a mortgage with no closing costs that Owning has ever done. 1.875% rate in APR. Heck, we're almost paying you to live in a new house. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to see if you qualify for this crazy low 1.875% rate. That's a fixed rate loan at 1.875% with no closing costs. Call 833-2-OWNING now because 1.875 could go away at any time.
NMLS 2611, licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Subject to credit approval. Offer assumes the use of lender's choice escrow and title services. Call 823-858-0066 for terms and conditions.
That's 833-2-OWNING or owning.com. 833-2-OWNING or owning.com.
Portions of the following program will be recorded. Good morning, my early rising friend. It's Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer, custom home builder, custom home designer. Hey, it's just about 6 o'clock. And for the next 2 hours, I'm going to be here with you as a friendly voice in your morning and your personal guide to turning your ordinary house into an extraordinary home. It is our annual Father's Day gift guide today, and it all gets started in just a couple of minutes. So stay tuned and welcome home. This is KFI and KOST HD2 Los Angeles, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
News without the skew.
KFI.
KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Federal charges for a police chief. I'm Andrew Caravello, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The lawyer disputing federal charges says a former La Habra police chief did not engage in violence or enter the Capitol during the riots in January.
There appears to be a political motivation to these charges. Lawyer Bill Athaley represents the former chief Alan Hofstadter, one of 6 men from Southern California charged with obstructing an official proceeding, unlawful entry to a restricted building, and conspiracy to block the victory of President Joe Biden.
They were on a Telegram group chat together with about 30 other people. They weren't together at the Capitol. They don't know each other. They didn't hang out here in SoCal. It's a big stretch to say that all these guys were in this huge conspiracy.
The indictment includes Hofstadter's comments at a Stop the Steal rally in OC saying execution is the just punishment for the ringleaders of the coup. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
LA County health officials say they're encouraged that more young people are showing up for the COVID-19 vaccine shot. In May, 35% of 16 to 17-year-olds had gotten at least one shot, but now the number has gone up to 47%. 55% of residents in LA County have been fully vaccinated. Health officials had set a goal of herd immunity by the end of July. A not guilty plea has been entered by an LA County Sheriff's deputy accused of murder in connection with a deadly solo crash. The deputy also pleaded not guilty yesterday to reckless driving. A female passenger was killed last summer and 2 others were injured when the car hit a pole. The woman's family claimed the deputy got special treatment because he was let go the night of the crash and was not charged until almost a year later. One of the U.S. senators from California has asked the military to clean up forever chemicals quickly.
The chemicals are called PFAS.
They're often referred to as forever chemicals because they never break down.
Democratic Senator Alex Padilla says they cause all sorts of health issues.
The Department of Defense has been knowingly polluting PFAS chemicals for decades.
City has introduced a pair of bills to direct money to DOD to clean up the offending basis, with the so-called Filthy 50 being fast-tracked.
6 of which are in California.
Overall, though, contamination's been found at 62 bases in the state. Chris Ancarlo, KFI News.
Funding for the California High-Speed Rail project is back on track. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg recommended restoring $929 million in grant funding to the project. The Biden-Harris administration signed off on the deal. Funding was in danger during the last administration, and Governor Newsom said the restoration of the funding is further proof the White House shares a common vision: clean, electrified transportation that will serve generations to come. The project has been continually delayed and plagued with cost overruns, environmental lawsuits, and millions wasted on consultants. Steve Gregory, KFI News. A survey of police departments across the country shows retirements and resignations are up over the last year.
The survey by the Police Executive Research Forum shows retirements up 45% and resignations up 18% between April 2020 and April 2021. Close to 200 police departments contributed to the survey. Medium and large-sized cities reported the most personnel losses, along with cities where large protests and demonstrations happened in the wake of George Floyd's death. Departments also say it's been hard to recruit new officers, with the number of new hires dropping by more than half in cities like Portland and Seattle. Brian Berumen, KFI News.
And Florida has become the latest state to put more strict guidelines on how U.S. history is taught in public schools. The State Board of Education has approved a ban on critical race theory, which takes race and equity into consideration when talking about American history. The state guidelines say history has to be taught in a way that's factual and objective. Arkansas and Idaho also put similar rules in place. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 210.
In Sylmar, it's the eastbound side of the 210 from the 5 to Roxford. All lanes closed by Caltrans all weekend long till around 5 o'clock Monday morning. The 5 north and south connectors to the 210 east also shut down because of that, and you are seeing delays along the main line of the 5. In Santa Monica, westbound side of the 10, 4th Street to the McClure Tunnel, all lanes there closed as well. They should be wrapping up this project in the next little while. Watch for sudden delays as you approach the closure. Pacific Coast Highway shut down both directions as part of this between Ocean Avenue and the California Incline and Baldwin Park. The eastbound side of the 10, Baldwin Park Boulevard to Azusa Avenue, carpool and 3 left lanes shut down for roadwork. KFI in the sky, hope to get you there faster. I'm Robert Bucky.
Sunshine is right around the corner. Next.
Last year, there was a victim of identity theft every 3 seconds. A criminal could be spending your money, applying for loans in your name, damaging your credit, even selling your personal information on the dark web, the hidden part of the internet where the bad guys buy and sell hidden information, your information. And you can miss certain threats to your identity by just checking bank accounts and monitoring your credit. That's not enough. LifeLock Identity Theft Protection sees the threats you could miss if you're only monitoring your credit and alerts you if they find something that could be suspicious. Plus, if you become a victim of identity theft, they will work to fix that problem from start to finish. Now, no one can prevent all ID theft or monitor every transaction, every business, but LifeLock, that's protection. Save up to 25% off your first year. Call 800-LifeLock, promo code handle, 800-LifeLock, promo code handle, or visit lifelock.com, promo code handle, lifelock.com. Save up to 25% off your first year, promo code handle.
Southland weather from KFI. Today, sunny. Highs from the upper 60s to mid-70s at the beaches to the lower to mid-80s Metro LAOC. Upper 80s in the valleys. Mostly clear except for patchy low clouds and fog after midnight. Sunday, areas of low clouds and fog in the morning. Then it's sunny the rest of the day. Right now, it's Sherman Oaks, 60 degrees. Diamond Bar, 59. Winter Park, 59. And Irvine, 59. We lead local live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Andrew Caravella.
Everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Good Saturday morning to you, my love. Did I just call all of our listeners love? I did. I just called them all love one at a time. Good morning and welcome home. I'm Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer, custom home builder, custom home designer, here for you live like I am every Saturday morning from 6 to 8 and Sundays from 9 to 11. Here to be an advocate for you as you struggle with construction issues on your home. A design mentor? Oh, yes, because design matters most. And, your buddy, as you take on the, I believe, noble work of turning your ordinary house into an extraordinary home. The team is all here. Sam is on the board. Misty is ready to take your calls and holding us all together by the thinnest of strings. Andrew Caravella on the news. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning.
How's it doing at 6 a.m. on a Saturday?
The sun is shining. I'm awake.
The sun is shining here as well. It's amazing. I'm pretty happy about that, actually. All right. Where's my wife? Where's my life partner? My best friend? No, she's not here. She's near. I have a feeling I can sense her. She's near. She may be ambushing me later. All right. Hey, guess what? As of Monday morning, life at KFI kind of returns to normal good, which is the return of Bill Handel. Bill Handel is back Monday mornings. Our big thanks to Gary and Shannon for filling in for them. Gary and Shannon will be back in their normal spot. Yes, it's true. So, it's a whole thing. Bill is back. We're glad to have him back. All right. Today, my friend, today is, we're a week out from Father's Day now, aren't we? Father's Day is, not next Saturday, but next Sunday. So, because unlike Mother's Day, when guys run out at the very last second and actually buy some flowers on the way to see Mom, shameful. I know you're planning ahead, but you might be stuck this year, like so many people are every year. What do we get this guy? What do we get my dad? Well, again, we have put together one of our world-famous gift guides here for you, and I just want to run through it with you this morning. Have a little fun. We're having a little fun with the gift guide. It is a combination of tools, yes, of course, tools, but some other things as well. Other things that kind of round out Dad, because Dad is a multi-dimensional being. He is. He really is. No, take at me at my word. It's in there somewhere. There is yet another dimension to him, and as a result, we will have more than just a few tools on the gift guide. Hey, even more than just a few barbecue things. Although I have to say, there's a couple of good ones here. So. This is where we're headed. Shall we dive in? First up, I should say this. The gift guide, in its totality, I believe we've got 21 really great items on it, and I'm going to get through as many as I can on the program. But the gift guide is up on the KFI website. It is also on our social media, all of our social media. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can find the gift guide. Misty has got it up there waiting for you. At Home with Dean. At Home with Dean on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, and you can go check these things out in living color for yourself. All right, number one. This is one of those just uber practical elements, but it's sort of a custom item for most dads when it comes to the garage, and that is because most work gets done in the garage. And extension cords get pulled out, and then extension cords have to get wound up and stored away. Why not get Dad a retractable extension cord reel, the kind that get used in reel workshops all over the country? It mounts on the wall or the ceiling, wherever you want it to be. And it's a spring-loaded extension cord. The one I'm staring at is a 75-foot extension cord. So plenty of room even to get beyond the garage out into the driveway. The plug on the end of the extension cord is a three outlet plug. So it's just great. So he'll just pull it out and it will stretch out as long as it needs to get to the work that's done. And then with a little secondary flick there, the whole thing will wind back into its reel and be done with. You can. We've got links to websites that sell these, but this is the kind of thing you can also find at Home Depot as well. It's about $75, and it is well worth the investment. All right, when we come back, let's do a couple of those outdoor cooking things, starting with what I think is probably the most convenient and highest tech food thermometer that goes into the barbecue, wireless food thermometer, which also means you can use it on a rotisserie and other things. So we'll talk about that when we return. So much more to come. I'm so glad you joined me this morning. You're listening to Home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer. Andrew Caravella. Sorry, Andrew. Andrew Caravella has the news.
It's all good. LA is reopening nearly 30 pools on Monday, just in time for the heat wave that's coming next week. A lawyer says a former La Habra police chief, has been indicted in connection with the Capitol insurrection because of unpopular political viewpoints, and a not guilty plea has been entered by an LA County Sheriff's deputy accused of murder in connection with the deadly solo crash. We'll take a look at the 210 next.
So you're ready to build your new dream kitchen. That's what I heard, at least. What's your first move? It should be a totally free in-showroom consult with my friends at the Kitchen Store. That means you're going to get two things right out of the gate. You're going to get the creativity and the wisdom of working with an expert kitchen designer. You need that. Also, you're going to get flooded with inspiration while you're sitting in the Kitchen Store's 7,000 square foot cabinet design showroom. It is a thing to behold. The Kitchen Store, right off the 405 in Culver City, for more than 50 years, it is the place for kitchen cabinets in all of SoCal. State-of-the-art computer design, 12-month same as cash financing, pricing that beats the big box home center. So there's no reason not to start your new kitchen right and set up your free consult today by dialing 310-KITCHEN. 310-KITCHEN, and check out the Kitchen Store on the web at 310kitchen.com.
From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. We're checking back in on the 210. In Selmar, eastbound side of the 210 between the 5 and Roxford, all lanes shut down all weekend long till Monday morning around 5 o'clock. The transitions from the 5 north and south also closed to the 210 east, and that's affecting your drive on the 5 just a little bit slow as you approach the interchange. In Baldwin Park on the eastbound side of the 10 between Baldwin Park Boulevard and Azusa Avenue, carpool and 3 left lanes closed by Caltrans, and you are slow through that stretch as well. Westbound side of the 10 from the 57 to Holt, 2 right lanes coned off till around the top of the hour. KFI in the sky hopes to get you there faster. I'm Robert DeBucky.
This report is sponsored by Molina Healthcare. For the health coverage you need close to home, lean on Molina Healthcare. Molina has 40 years of experience and covers preventive services, prescription drugs, maternity and newborn care, and more. For details, go to leanonmolina.com. Get the care you need. Lean on Molina.
Do you want out of your house for whatever reason? Maybe you're moving or downsizing, there are financial issues, maybe you inherited it.
Selling a home usually means hours of painting and cleaning and staging. But what if you could sell your home for a fair price without any of that hassle? The buyer never had to walk through your home. You could sell it without an appraisal, no commissions, no fees.
What if you could get paid in cash and get it done fast, like in 10 days or less? This is exactly what directbuyers.com will do.
Directbuyers.com is a local family-owned business. They've been around since the mid-'80s. We've talked with the owners, Janet and Matt. Wonderful people. They care about their clients.
You don't want to go to a national call center. These are the people we trust. Do not sell your home until you talk to directbuyers.com. See what they can offer you. They will give you an honest, no-obligation offer. They can even get you $15,000 cash advance before closing to help with your move.
They're not going to lowball you. Go to directbuyers.com. Directbuyers.com. 844-242-SELL. That's 844-242-SELL. Directbuyers.com.
Hey, what do you know about Aldic Home? If you don't know Aldic Home, you should. As a resource for the beautification of the inside of your home. Why? Because Aldic is the finest source of utterly lifelike silk flowers and trees in the country, and they're right here in our own backyard, right in Van Nuys on Sepulveda Boulevard. Here's a confession. I look for any excuse to visit Aldic, especially when I need a finishing touch that's going to make all the difference in a home. They have a 24,000 square foot showroom. It's nothing short of magic. It's creative. It's inspiring. It's the kind of place you just don't want to leave, except to bring that magic home. And if that wasn't enough, Aldic now has the most beautiful patio furniture. Teak, weatherproof wicker, extruded aluminum. Get this, all of it made to order to your specifications in over 140 fabrics and colors. You go to Aldic, you sit in it, you check it out, you enjoy it, and then you're not going to settle for anything less than Summer Classics furniture at Aldic Home. No matter where you live, your home, your patio deserve a visit to Aldic. Find them on Sepulveda in Van Nuys or on the web at aldichome.com. That's ALDIK home.com.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Would you get on an airplane if you knew it had a 50% chance of crashing? You may be riding that plane right now. If you have your money in a 401k or IRA and you plan to take out the recommended percentage each year when you retire, your chance of running out of money is 50%. 50%. But there's a better and safer way to secure your income in retirement. Discover how in a free book called Rescue Your Retirement. This wealth building strategy has never had a losing year in more than a century. In fact, even the man who invented the 401k now prefers this method instead. Get Rescue Your Retirement free for just a small shipping charge and enjoy a safe landing and a comfortable retirement. Get this free book and make sure you don't run out of money. Hurry, this offer is extremely limited. To get your free copy, just go to growwealthsafely.com. That's growwealthsafely.com to discover how to rescue your retirement. growwealthsafely.com.
At Loan Depot, we know home means everything. As America's lender and the official mortgage provider of Major League Baseball, we provide mortgage solutions that are personalized, convenient, and fast. With rates as low as 1.75%, APR 2.157%, now may be a great time to explore your cash-out refinance options. Give us a call at 866-888-LOAN. Rate subject to tickets, 2.421% fee to receive a discounted rate offer cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 174457. Licensed in all 50 states.
For official rules and more information about contests of this station, go to KFIAM640.com/rules. Well, hey, it's me, Leo Laporte, and oh boy, Apple's announcements this week were incredible. Well, I'm guessing. I actually didn't hear them yet because I'm recording this the day before, but I think they're going to announce new laptops. I'm guessing. And if they do, we'll talk about it this week and every week. All the tech news, plus help for your tech problems. That's what I'm here for. Leo Laporte, I'm your tech guy. Join me this weekend and every weekend, won't you? I'll be looking for you. Leo Laporte, this morning at 11. KFI AM 640. Stimulating talk. Sharp, the House Whisperer. You're listening to Home, where every week we help you